the clock, turns the corner, for the win!
Draft coming up on the 29th, where we make history. All right, so let's take a look first at this news. So guys, definitely hit the like. It really helps spread the word. I really want a lot of feedback for this stuff that I'm making. Here's our news. So we've got new coach coming in, potentially Earl Watson. He had a stint with the Suns, which was like he was interim coach after a firing, and then he went into coach. He obviously had a long player career that he was thought of as a leader on the teams. But as a coach, he never did anything like in terms of his record, but he was there during like the low times. Do you know what I mean? So as far as I'm concerned, being a cook in Aberfoyle, Ontario, Canada, there's nothing like super notable about him. But I will say that obviously the management team has decided that he's a big deal. I would really, if I'm looking at coaching for the Raptors, I really like, I forget the name of the guy that got poached from us last year, but he was to come in and work on cuts and stuff like that. And I think he got poached by Golden State. If anyone knows his name, write it in the comments, because I forget who it was. But I wanted to see the Raptors really develop that pick and roll, which they were excited to start doing with Malachi Flynn and originally Aaron Baines and all these other guys. And I'm stoked because, you know, I'm a Scottie Barnes man. So I'm hoping that's exactly what happens. Anyway, let's get to our comment. I'm a fan guy, was writing regarding centers. And as many of you know, did a video, the best part, maybe the thumbnail for the video, where I was just listing potential targets for trades that involve centers. And we do have assets. I'm still, fingers crossed, hopeful that we use expiring contracts to reel something in. That would be like dynamite going off for this type of trade. It doesn't happen that often, but I've been really pushing for it and hoping. They might decide to go a different route. They might decide to actually extend contracts to many of the guys that would be expiring and keep the money on the books. And the reason for that is to be allowed to stay at a certain point above the soft cap. So you might see some guys getting extensions that you didn't necessarily think you would like to see it happen with. If anyone knows precisely the Raptors cap space, assuming they let Hood and Baines go, I'd love to know that number. I haven't done the math myself, and I'd love to have it for the days to come. Anyway, thanks so much for your comment. I'm totally in cahoots with you guys that say Richaun Holmes is not, you know, the guy I want. He's got the big, wide body that I want, but he's not a guy that I want to pay big money to. I feel like there's bargain guys on the market, and if you hadn't watched the video to find out who those are, definitely go back and watch episode 8, which is going to have to do with my hot take. So my first hot take, I'm sure if you've been watching my videos, I've had like a billion hot takes, but I'm calling this one the first hot take. And that's that as I've done my analysis and as I go through the OKC trade down scenarios and look at their roster and look at the prospect, or more or less all Sam Presti's #1 picks, it becomes more and more apparent to me that the draft might not turn out how we've all been told it's gonna. And the reason I say that is we're being told Cade, then Mobley, and then the popular opinion is the Jalens and Kuminga, right? And then maybe guys like Scottie Barnes, Keon Johnson, Book Knight, guys like that, Davion Mitchell. Somewhere around 10 is like Şengün and guys like that. But it's a pretty, I don't know if you've gone and done some mock drafts yourself, guys, but it's pretty clogged. Like they say that there's going to be all-stars in the second round eventually for this draft. It's just the talent for the NBA pipeline is so rich these days that we as basketball fans get to see these drafts where eventually we see #2 picks winning MVPs like Jokic, right? And Freddie and undrafted guys are becoming more and more the norm. Episode 9 that I did was all about Orlando and Jeff Weltman's just stockpile of assets. And I was just showing how if he wanted to get Cade Cunningham, he could definitely call up Detroit. And even though Detroit's stoked to get Cade, they have Killian Hayes. They have a really good, solid they have a good core already, like Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart and Grant. They just have good horses already in the stable. I'm forgetting a big one there. Anyhow, if they decide that the Jalens are going to fall, and I'm going to explain to you how that might happen, then they might say, you know what, we like Cade, but we also like a scenario where we get a prospect like from Orlando who has tons, plus Jalen Suggs or Jalen Green, plus the number 8 pick. And that could be like a Moses Moody. That could be like another big, like it's crazy what they could get Detroit if they swap this down with Orlando. So if Orlando wants that pick, it's a big deal. Same thing goes for the second pick. But the thing here is, if it's the second pick, whoever moves up, so if Orlando moves up, they'll be looking to take Mobley. And I know people are saying it's Green and stuff. I don't buy it. Like, Mobley is the unique talent here, and there's a glut of guards in this draft. Not only is there a glut of guards, there's teams that kind of already have guards. Houston's a bit of an exception, but if Houston feels like they can, drop down and still get talented guards later, they will. So again, these Jalens get past Houston, or the second pick. Third pick is Cleveland. Now, everyone claims that Kobe Altman, Cleveland executive, is looking to break up Sexland. That's Sexton and Garland. But I gotta tell you, that's a bit of horseshit. Now, again, I'm just a cook, but like, follow me here. Kobe Altman has drafted 3 guards for the 3 seasons he's been there. Sexton, Garland, and now Isaac Okoro. And they're his babies. When a GM drafts stuff, he likes to keep them. You constantly see executives that change franchises or coaches going and getting the guys that they helped draft and bringing them in. There's a special relationship and a special wish list, and they try and build systems. So when you see a rumor where they say, oh, Cleveland wants to get rid of Sexton, for what? Jalen Green? A scoring guard with potential to be a scorer. Well, what would you rather have? Sexton and Garland, who clearly don't have trouble scoring. There's other things they need to work on, but they don't need Jalen Green. Do they need Suggs? No, same difference. Like, they could use the defense. Suggs is a great defender, a perimeter defender. Suggs is one of the best in the draft. But do they need him? No. So maybe they trade down, or maybe they just take somebody like Kuminga or Barnes or Moody. Okay, and Barnes, everyone's confused when I say Barnes. Keep Kylo and do Barnes, or Kalo and take Barnes, because Barnes is listed as a point guard with Florida State. But the reality is he's a wing that within one season, not even starting on Florida State, they converted to a point guard. He was guarding 1 through 5 and running the fast break and the pick and roll. So Barnes is a special talent. So I know everyone's confused when I say this, but like, so if it goes past Cleveland, then it's Toronto. And I've been saying since my first video, my whole point of my first video is that I think we're going Scottie Barnes and keeping Kalo. And the reason we're going Scottie Barnes is because we're keeping Kalo. So let me put this to you. The more and more I go and watch other videos, the more it's like, the Pelicans want Kalo. The Bulls now want Kalo. The Lakers want Kalo and DeMar DeRozan. Like, everyone wants Kalo. Philly wants Kalo. All of these contending teams don't have a problem with Kalo's contract, but according to ESPN analysts, and now everyone that writes about anything, he's going to leave in a sign and trade because the Raptors don't want to have that contract? That makes no sense. It's a good contract. We can afford to go above the cap to keep him. He's literally our, like, the heart and soul of the franchise, the best Raptor ever. He just came off a great season where we just decided to leave him off playing so that we could tank and we could groom our young talent. He's literally mentoring and transferring his championship DNA to all of our players. Like, you watch this guy do an interview, and all he does is talk about how he loves seeing the development of these young guys that he helped kind of groom and win in 2019 with. And he wants another championship, but he doesn't have to chase out of town to get that ring. it could happen again for us here. So if we keep Kalo and we take Scottie Barnes at 4, like I said, the Jalens fall out of the top and start getting mixed up with all those other guards. Book Knight, Davion Mitchell, Keon Johnson, Moses Moody. Rumor has it, if Orlando stays put, they might take Moses Moody at 6. So these two Jalens, like I'm telling you, hot take or not hot take, don't believe the hype. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm fine with being wrong. Obviously, I'm setting myself up to go against the grain on everything I'm typically saying. Anyhow, that's the end of that take. Let's get to this Scottie Barnes video.
I don't even know where you're sitting.
So here's our fun guy footage.
Had a good conversation with the Raptors, where it's just been trying to get to know them, having talks about their program, what they have done. Their player development is great. You just see a lot of young players coming to the league and immediately just get better, no matter if they're in the G League playing at that time or just in the NBA growing as players. You just see their player development with so many young guys. I would say like Chris Boucher. You see it with like Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam. Those guys, they took a different route, but they stayed within that organization where it's just those players are just getting better in that organization. So I would say that their player development is off the charts, where they get players that would say that really couldn't shoot as much, be able.
Okay, that's the knock on Scottie Barnes, right? They're saying like he should be lower in the draft because his shooting's not there. Same with Suggs, actually. If you go back and watch episode 4, I believe, of my series where I actually roll tape of Scottie Barnes, I show a clip where it shows his form at the beginning of his year with FSU, Florida State, and then it shows his shot at the end of the season. And at the end of the season, he's shooting he's shooting end of game winning threes with confidence with a fairly good stroke. Like the mechanics are good. And if you go back and watch episode 4, what I want you to listen to is how he talks about taking the shot. His IQ, he's learning the game and he's working on the shot. This is not a guy that's going to be hampered by the shot. But now let's go to this interview. And what we're actually hearing him say is he's already bought in. He loves the idea of coming up here, playing solid defense, buying into this system, and watching his stock rise. This is the guy. This is totally the guy. And I'm scared we might have to trade up to get him. Anyway.
Get them to move their percentages up year by year, developing their skills. I would say my workout went pretty fine. It was a good workout. But I would say it was a lot of shooting.
Because they're trying to figure out if his shot's totally broken, which I don't believe it is. But again, I'm a cook in Aberfoyle.
I don't really know. It was a pretty solid workout where it was a lot of shooting, different things like that. I would say the Raptors should consider taking me because just of the things that I bring your energy, I bring that defensive mindset, I bring the winning culture of basketball, I bring my playmaking ability, I bring all these different things, the little things that help teams be able to win games. So I say that's why they should be able to consider me.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I completely agree. And not only does he bring those things, he's going to walk into a locker room that retains Kalo and 4 other ring bearers, Boucher, Fred VanVleet, Pascal, and OG. And he's going to be totally engrossed by that whole thing. So that's why all these rumors, I'll say it again, I say it every video, all these rumors that claim that Kalo's leaving and that we're trading things like Pascal Siakam and OG for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, all of this other stuff, they're nonsense. Like we're trading Fred VanVleet to get Ben Simmons. Come on, guys. None of these guys are going anywhere. In fact, the one that I originally thought I would trade, Chris Boucher, now that I've been through the contracts of all of the teams that I've had to look for, Chris Boucher at $7 million, holy moly, you don't move him. You don't move him. Unless you actually want to create luxury tax room and take on a bigger contract, like package him up, you don't move Boucher because he's perfect for your system. You don't have to retrain him. He's not a selfish guy. He's not going to cry out for minutes. You know he's already bought in. He's re-signed with you. So, yeah, the more I think about it, guys, like pretty much every trade rumor that involves a ring bearer from the Raptors, I think is virtual horseshit. Anyway, these were the comparables for Scottie Barnes. And remember, don't get bogged down in the fact that he's listed as a point guard. He's 1 through 4 to play, 1 through 4. Like, he can position himself at 1 through 4, and he's just an incredible guy. So go back and watch episode number 4 if you're not sure about him. Anyway, thanks for watching, and remember, it's all about the Larry. Cheers, guys.
This is Chef's Kiss approved. Mwah!
I don't even know where you're sitting at. Like.